All right, back to our regularly scheduled program where we talk about actual sports on here. We'll talk about the the opening week of college football. A lot of big matchups. We had five top 25 matchups, led by Clemson and Georgia. Georgia obviously getting their season off on the right foot, winning that one 10-3. Defensive struggle unlike any other. Alabama, the top ranked team in the country, a big start for them, and Bryce Young threw 4 touchdowns, I believe. They win that one 44-13. On the road, Penn State and Wisconsin. Penn State getting that one in a defensive battle as they get off to a good start as we continue to search for a Big Ten team who wants to give Ohio State a fight. And we already covered Ohio State. Had a couple major upsets in the top 25, including the Pac-12. Just clown show continues with Washington losing to some Yellowstone Park or something. Then we had North Carolina go down Virginia Tech. You guys know I was loving that. That was great to see. Anyways, Drink, over to you. What stood out to you in opening week?
Well, hold on. I gotta come back. Hold up. Bring that back. You said it was wonderful to see Virginia Tech beat North Carolina. You was happy about that?
That is sarcasm, and you know it.
Is that sarcasm? Because I seen a little smirk. Oh, okay. I was just making sure. Sometimes, in 2021, things ain't always as they seem. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to make sure that, you didn't have.
Virginia beat William and Mary, so that was good to see. Although maybe at this point it might be Wilma and Mark. I'm not sure. But anyway, go ahead.
I was just making sure you didn't have a Virginia Tech T-shirt on under that hoodie. But here's the deal. Let me go ahead and roll with the greatness. You know what time it was. Did I not say Alabama was gonna put it on Miami about 30? I know people was like, oh my God, this dude, what an arrogant boo. But I told you, Miami ain't ready for no prime time stuff like that, and we seen it. So I'm not even gonna live on that game. We got the best quarterback in the game right now. Anyway, so. Hey, listen, I don't want to hear nothing about no Spencer Rattler when he out here throwing it to Tulane 2-3 times a game. Nah. See, first, I had to hear about DJU, and I'm going to get to him. Then I had to hear about Spencer Rattler. Oh, okay. Then I had to hear about Sam Howell, how good he was. Oh, well, tell me about it. So now, all 3 of them dudes are looking a little funny in the light, and then you see who the cream of the crop that rose to the top this weekend. So I'll just leave that as it may. Now, let me go ahead and start with the headliner of this weekend. The headliner was, number 3 Clemson versus number 5 Georgia. We did give our 2 cents on that game before it happened, and I think we both went with Georgia to win. Now, we didn't think they was going to combine for a total of 13 points. I'm not gonna lie. Even if you tell me how great both of these defenses are, I thought we was gonna get a little more offensive action than that, but we didn't. And let's keep it real. If it weren't for Georgia defense, listen, that score could have been 3-3 with a couple of overtimes. It wasn't a whole lot of ball movement in this game, just to say. And to credit to both teams, here's the deal. The reason I gave the reason I had a feeling that Georgia was going to win because I just felt like, for Georgia, I just trust that Kirby Smart was going to have the defense ready to play. I didn't trust the offense, but I said, hey, if their defense come to play, maybe JT Daniels could make enough plays, find enough guys, because when you recruit year after year after year and you're in the top 5, you just, at some point, your talent gotta you gotta have enough talent to do something. You can't keep recruiting like this, right? JT Daniels gave me something. He did give me something, I guess. Yeah, they was in the red zone a couple of times. Something that I don't know. I'm not gonna say he blew me away, but he did more than DJU, I guess you could say. So it was enough to get the job done. Now, what I will say I didn't like was I wasn't overly, happy about the fact that Kirby Smart want to say either you're elite or you're not. Dude, you scored 10 points. You scored 10 points and your defense had a pick 6. Don't be out here talking about either you're elite or you're not. Are you kidding me? Your offense did nothing. Nothing. And you talking about either, okay, I hope Nick got that posted somewhere in every locker. Either you're elite or you're not. I couldn't believe he said that. And then over to Clemson, listen, I think we both came to this conclusion. You jumped in a little more than I did. It was a lot of unknowns, and them unknowns came pretty doggone. That offensive line was not good at all for Clemson. It was not good at all. Those running backs, hey, listen, I think Rutgers got a better running back core right now. I was not, oh, no, sir. That running back core was not it, folks. And remember, I said no Travis Etienne. I think people underestimate how much of the workload Travis Etienne had since he's been in the Clemson uniform because everybody just worry about Trevor Lawrence. And nobody's paying attention to what you're getting out of Travis Etienne game in and game out. Now, no Lawrence, no Travis Etienne. And for the most part, the wide receiver core, I knew all those guys. We done seen all those guys play. Outside of Will Shipley and maybe one other guy, like the rest of those guys we seen play. Ross, Latson, Nagaga. I think the guy Galloway was still, like, we seen them guys play. So it wasn't like it was an unfamiliar wide receiver core. It was just he didn't have time to think. He didn't have time to do really anything. Because every time he do a 3-step drop, he got to step number 2, and some dude from Georgia was all over him. If he did a 5-step drop, you can forget about it. So, like, whatever the case might be, my man was having a very, very hard time. Now, all right, moving on, because honestly, I thought that game got to a stale point. Anyway, now, a game I was surprised, right? My boy Kirk Ferentz, I had to bring him up, right? So, down there, Indiana, Iowa, right? This is a game we want to look at and see, can we find somebody else in the Big Ten that can make Ohio State sweat this year? Who we got? Indiana, what you got? I got you 6 points. All right. Iowa, what you got? Oh, we actually passing the ball around this thing at Iowa now. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just known for a first round, offensive line and a tight end. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple wide receivers. We got some weapons here. Now, as excited as I am for Iowa to actually give me something in the department other than offensive linemen, I don't know if I've seen enough for them to, really do anything with Ohio State. But it was, some encouragement, right? I was like, oh, okay, cool, boom, 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 boom. But then, I don't know. We'll get back to that. Then I moved over to the Pac-12, right? I said, Pac-12, Jay's favorite conference. Why not? Let me go ahead and, see what's going on over here on the West Coast and see what's happening. And you know what I see? Lo and behold, I see Oregon out here flopping around with Fresno State. Good old Fresno. The Bulldogs. And I ain't talking Georgia. Listen, I don't know what Oregon got going on now, but I can't be coming on here show after show giving, Oregon all the credit on the West Coast with USC, and you barely beat Fresno State. What are we doing, Mario Cristobal? What are we doing, buddy? You got to get. Listen, this is not it. This is not 31-24 Fresno. That's not it. But then I said, you know what? What should I expect out of the Pac-12, right? So, last but not least, I'm gonna get to the end. I want to talk about the game that came on last night, right? Notre Dame and Florida State. Oh, hey, what's up, Cody, baby? You know what I'm saying? What's up? I'm gonna lead you. I'm gonna lead you right
over Monday. Moral victory Monday, yes, sir.
I'm gonna lead you right on into this thing. So there I was, right, watching, Notre Dame, Florida State, and I'm thinking, oh man, Notre Dame defense is really good, but this guy Florida State then rolled out here as starting quarterback. I mean, he must be good because I know who Mackenzie Milton is. I done kind of seen him on the bright lights, and I done seen him on the big stage. And all right, so this guy Travis, he must be pretty darn good because Milton is supposed to be healthy, and he's not starting. He's not the starting quarterback. All right, cool. And yeah, he was not good. So now I'm just wondering, what is Mike Norvell doing? Like, this dude is not good, folks. He's not good. I don't know, whatever. So then, Florida State scoring a running play. Notre Dame moved the ball down here. And by the way, listen, I give ESPN, ABC, whoever this. They tried their best to hype up old Jack Cohn over there and tell me how Jack Cohn is going to come here and just, be the guy that he wasn't in the Big Ten in Wisconsin. But, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He do got some dudes to throw to in Notre Dame. He got some dudes out there, but I wasn't sold on him either. Either way, I bring that game up to say this, right? I honestly thought Florida State was going to pull that game out so I can get on here and talk crazy and reckless about Notre Dame. But I know one thing. If this the Notre Dame team, I don't want to hear nothing about them being in the playoffs. They barely in the top 10 still. They better be glad there's a couple of teams up here that couldn't get the job done. North Carolina and a few others, But with that said, I thought Florida State would be better this year. Now I do feel like they will be better. I think they found their quarterback, right? So I want to give Florida State their flowers since my guy on the show, and we always giving him the business and the smoke and everything else about
deserved it last couple of years of football. That's for sure.
I just want to give him flowers and say Florida State look like they might be about something this year. I think they're going to be a better team this year. That front for Florida State. Yo, that thing was for real. That defense, that was for real. I think that's going to help them win a lot of games this season. So, I just had to give my guy Cody his flowers and say I think Florida State back this year.
Yeah. I guess we'll pick up there, and obviously it is just a moral victory. They decided to brick the 36-yard kick after making the 50 before Mike had him review it, which can't be mad about it. But it's just how kickers are. They get to thinking a little too much, and hey, it just happens. But no, that was a great performance. I told Jay we were watching the game, and I said the third quarter, Notre Dame pulled away 38-20. I said, okay, the game ends right here. I'm happy with what I saw tonight. I am legitimately happy that the two things really three things is one, the skill position guys are a lot better. They're a lot faster. They're a lot more explosive. That backfield with Corbin and Ward, man, them dudes run hard, and they're shifty. You got some talent at wide receiver again, and that's one of the big things they've lacked. The defensive line was outstanding, like you said. You're talking about Kyron Williams, preseason All-American, and that backfield as a whole, they averaged 1.9 yards per rush on 35 attempts. They could not get anything going in that regard. And, you had your transfer, Jermaine Johnson, coming in from Georgia. He wrecked house all night. He was back there just living his best life in the backfield. So, no, there was a lot to like. But then the fact they actually came back, I haven't seen that fight in years from that team. That's the challenge now is, okay, Mike, that's great. You had Sunday night, primetime, top 10 team, house was rocking, Bobby Bowden honor night. Whole thing, and then, all of a sudden, hey, how's it look next week when you're at Louisville or Wake Forest and it's noon and it's 1,000 degrees and no one's there in the stadium? Does that transfer over? So, we'll find out. But yeah, they get a lot of props, but we better see it next week. And the thing about Jordan Travis, he did start most of last year. He's far more athletic than any other quarterbacks they had. And he's the guy that, hey, well, if the offense isn't going to function as it should, you get an athletic guy that can run around and kind of improvise some plays. That was the whole idea. And Milton got to campus late. He didn't have a lot of time to practice in the spring. So I think the staff wanted to go with the guy that had more reps last year, and they hoped he'd improve in that short and medium pass game, and he really didn't. So unfortunately, it looks like Milton just made a pretty strong push to become the starter. But what I hope they do is do a little quarterback rotation. I hope they do a little bit of quarterback rotation, get both those guys some snaps and some series, because they can be a lot of fun together. They kind of offset each other's compliments and skill sets. So, we'll see. But like I said, I want to see it next week against, a little lower competition, see if they bring that same fire or if that was just a one-time deal for the primetime lights. I'll keep a couple quick thoughts on some of the games I saw. Florida and Florida Atlantic. I'm just going to mention the Florida quarterback room. Emory Jones did not solidify his position at all as a starting quarterback. He threw 2 picks. Didn't look that great. Didn't look very decisive. And that Anthony Richardson fella, boy, that shadow is looming large right now, and they get another toss-up against USF to kind of figure this out some more, and you're going to see both guys play. But Dan Mullen's doing that my starting quarterback is X thing when everyone's looking around going, I don't know, man, because that Richardson kid he's something special. He had some runs that made your jaw drop. And I get it, it was FAU, but there is a serious quarterback competition brewing down there in Gainesville, and might have to play their best player for Alabama. And by the way, thank you for that dragging of Miami. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Hey, anytime.
I called it a 30-point loss. Y'all covered even that. It's great. It was just great to watch. And boy, Bradshaw, you're not kidding. That guy looks like the best quarterback in football after week 1, and it doesn't look close. Holy crap. And, I'll just say for Clemson, that loss was kind of ugly. And one of the problems you're going to have now is you look at the rest of their schedule, man, it's not good. I mean, there's nothing left on the schedule. There ain't a ranked team left. It's the classic Clemson, just serve them up. I tell you, that most teams you would say, okay, number 5, number 3, neutral site, you lost by a touchdown, whatever. I don't know if they're going to be able to recover with the schedule. I mean, they might, but it's going to be harder for them than it's going to be for most other teams. There is not a marquee game left unless Florida State or some other team really gets their stuff together. So that's going to be interesting for them. And like y'all said, thank God we don't have to listen another year to Notre Dame, because we just got proven we are not going to see Alabama 59, Notre Dame 8 in a New Year's game this year. Thank you. So that's what I got. Over to you, Jay.
Just to piggyback on what you said about Clemson's schedule, your remaining non-conference games are South Carolina State, UConn, which rip Randy Edsall, by the way, not literally, but he announced his retirement because they can't beat whatever high school team, whatever it was. And you get, of course, your in-state game against South Carolina. Yeah, that's it. And you play in the Atlantic Division, you don't get North Carolina or Miami this year. So their best competition may, in fact, be Florida State. And this is what we was talking about on the Friday show. We said, listen, Clemson, this game going to be more important to Clemson in terms of the playoff. Because Georgia can, they at least would be able to lose this game, but they could go out and run the table, and they're still going to have an impressive resume just because, they play in the SEC. There's going to be opportunities. This is it for Clemson. Clemson has zero margin for error. Matter of fact, if things don't shake out quite right, they could win the rest of their games, win the ACC, and it still might not be enough. The best game they would have is whoever they play in the ACC championship game, likely. That may, in fact, not be enough. Georgia, in contrast, Georgia could go undefeated in the regular season, lose in the SEC championship game, and they'll still be better than an ACC champion Clemson by virtue of the head-to-head. That's just facts. So Clemson don't have Clemson, I wouldn't count them out yet because you still have the whole aura and the reputation and the Dabo and the green hat that Brent Venables wear and all these cool things. They still there. But it's not looking good early. That did not look like a playoff team. And by the way, the ACC, the biggest loser of the weekend, when your top 3 teams, obviously I don't want to beat up Miami too much. I don't think nobody expected them to win the game. I mean, maybe you could have done a little bit better. But no one's going to be upset at that.
Tried.
Clemson losing to Georgia, not the biggest deal other than the fact that you're supposed to be, carrying the flag for the conference. But North Carolina losing to Virginia Tech, obviously a big deal because, that was definitely one that you didn't expect. You could have, we both, I know you picked Georgia. I think I was leaning Georgia. And, of course, we had Bama. I don't think nobody had Virginia Tech. So that was somewhat disappointing. But, yeah, when the biggest highlight for the ACC is Florida State almost winning, then you didn't have a good start. ACC. So go ahead, tighten up that alliance a little bit. You're gonna need it. It looks like. That was not very good. But I think, I gotta say, you made the comment about Bryce Young being the best quarterback in football. Kind of, made me turn my nose up a little bit. Oh, one game, and we're gonna put the crown on him already. And then I'm like, well, what else I haven't seen anything else yet. Yeah. I'm looking.
Listen.
I'm looking.
Now. And this is why I did it that way, right? I said something about Bryce Young, and then I gave you these other candidates that was in front of him, just to make sure. You know what I'm saying? To be fair, let me give these other guys a shout out too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean Spencer Rattler. I mean, you told us what he was doing in Tulane. Maybe they had too many restrictions down there. We don't know. What did DJ out here? Poor DJ. He can't get it. I mean, that Clemson offensive line just getting abused. You got Bulldogs just barking at him every play. And then who else we got? My boy, the dude Stroud.
Sam Howell.
Stroud from Ohio State. I mean, I didn't love what I saw from him. The first half was terrible. Whatever. I mean, these other dudes, there wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
You had that one fella threw like 10 touchdowns in like the Division 2 game or whatever. Yeah,
we got to reach way down for that.
I mean,
No,
10. Just saying.
But I guess the overall point here, it looked like, I mean, at least it's only 1 week. Let's not get carried away too much, but
Right.
Alabama looked leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the pack. I mean, Oklahoma was not impressive. I don't think Ohio State was impressive. Clemson goes down. I mean, even Georgia winning. I don't know. I don't think we're sold on Georgia based on that performance. I mean, I thought JT Daniels was decent. I thought Georgia outplayed Clemson. I actually liked what they did on the ground. I mean, I like this kid Samir White. I think he's a heck of a running back. And they got James Cook. They got some guys, and that defense might be the best in the country.
Yeah, I think that defense is the best in the country. That defense was legit.
But in summary, I mean, you look at teams that you look at as playoff teams. Alabama looks like a playoff team. Georgia maybe on the fringe right now, but some of your other usual suspects. Oklahoma didn't look like a playoff team. Neither did Ohio State. Neither did Clemson. And you're absolutely right about Notre Dame. We should not have to worry about them even bothering. Because that was not a playoff team. If you're going to have that much trouble with Florida State, probably shouldn't have to worry about it.